Story that we've been covering for weeks now, the death of Tyre Nichols.
The video surrounding his death is making headlines across the world, with all eyes on the city of Memphis now. In a matter of days, we have learned 5 officers were terminated in connection to Nichols' death. Yesterday, we learned that a 6th officer, Preston Hemphill, has been placed on leave. We've also known that a 7th unnamed officer is now under investigation.
In addition to those officers, 3 Memphis Fire Department employees were terminated in connection with Nichols' death, and 2 Shelby County deputies are on leave pending an investigation right now. We're supposed to have some videotape here.
My brother was the most peaceful person you ever met in your life. He's never lifted a finger to nobody, never raised his voice to nobody. If my brother was here today and if he had to say something, he will tell us to do this peacefully.
Tyre Nichols' brother there. Peaceful, that's the message from that family. They want to make sure that that message gets across to the city of Memphis and the nation. Peaceful protests have already happened all across Memphis. And tonight, Tyre's family stood, as you saw, next to civil rights activists from across the country demanding change from the top.
This, of course, comes days after the video of Tyre's beating was released, showing exactly what happened that fateful night. Now, tonight, we hear from Tyre's brother and civil rights activist, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Fox 13's Daniel Wilkerson was there at that news conference at the church. Daniel, emotions again high tonight from the pulpit.
Gerald and Darcy, good evening. Yes, it was April 3rd, 1968, when the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King gave his final speech, his I've Been to the Mountaintop speech, and he would deliver that speech at the place where I stand tonight. That podium you see live on television is a podium where Dr. King delivered that speech. Again, that was April 3rd, 1968, so it was only fitting that the mother, father, the siblings of Tyre Nichols would stand near this podium, and what they requested tonight is this. They want federal legislation on the books in the name of Tyre Nichols that would mean harsher sentences or harsher consequences for officers who are involved in incidents like what we saw with Tyre Nichols. As you stated, the Reverend Al Sharpton of the Action Network was in attendance today. Ben Crump was going to be here, but we understand due to the weather, he could not make it here, but this is what the Reverend Al Sharpton had to say. Take a listen.
What happened to Tyre is a disgrace to this country. There's no other way to describe what has happened in this situation. People from around the world watched a videotape of a man unarmed, unprovoked, being beat to death by officers of the law. We talk a lot about gangbangers in the street and what colors they wear. In Memphis, it looks like they wear the blue color and uniform. When you can beat a man, chase him down and beat him some more, and then let him lay there wounded for over 20 minutes and think nothing would happen. You thought that no one would respond. That's right. You thought no one would care.
As we come back to you live again, we are in Mason Temple tonight. You are taking a live look at that podium from where you heard the Reverend Al Sharpton speak, the same one that Dr. Martin Luther King used, as I stated. Now, we did not hear from the mother of Tyre Nichols tonight. She did not feel up to speaking ahead of the funeral tomorrow, but we did hear from her husband, Tyre's father. He spoke, as well as Tyre's brother. That family, again, calling for peaceful protests as they get ready to lay their loved one to rest tomorrow. Daryl.
That is Fox 13's Daniel Wilkerson live tonight. Daniel, thank you. Now, the city of Memphis, we found out, is acknowledging that there are more unreleased recordings in the Tyre Nichols case.
Now, the statement actually reads in part, a premature release of the video and audio could compromise our administrative investigation, and that the city will release these recordings once the investigation is over within the next few weeks.
Now, we've also got our hands on a few of the employee files of the officers involved in the death of Tyre Nichols. We're combing through those recordings, and we will bring you a full detailed report on what those records say tomorrow here on Fox 13 News.